Imagine an army that fought in World War II, an army that saved tens of thousands of lives but never fired a single shot in anger. An army whose primary weapons were inflatable tanks, powerful speakers, and pure, unadulterated imagination. This is the incredible, almost unbelievable story of the Ghost Army. During the darkest days of the war, as Allied forces prepared to push into the heart of Europe, they faced a critical problem. The German High Command was brilliant, their intelligence network vast. How could the Allies move massive armies without tipping off the enemy? The answer was deception on a scale never seen before. This led to the creation of one of the most secret units of the entire war, the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. To the outside world, they didn't exist. But to the Germans tracking Allied movements, they were a formidable force, tens of thousands strong. Their mission was simple, yet insanely complex: to impersonate other, much larger U.S. Army units. They were masters of illusion, a traveling roadshow of deception designed to draw enemy forces away from where the real attacks were happening. They were tasked with making the Germans look one way, while the real punch came from the other. So how did this small group of around 1,100 men convince the Germans they were a force of 30,000? They used a multi-layered approach, a symphony of smoke and mirrors. The first and most iconic tool was visual deception. The Ghost Army was equipped with a bizarre arsenal of full-scale inflatable replicas. They had inflatable Sherman tanks, inflatable artillery cannons, inflatable jeeps, and even inflatable airplanes. From the air, especially from a reconnaissance plane flying at high altitude, these rubber decoys were indistinguishable from the real thing. Imagine the scene: a team of just 4 men could inflate a 93-pound rubber tank in a matter of minutes. Overnight, a quiet French field could be transformed into a bustling armored division staging area, seemingly ready to launch a massive assault. They would even use bulldozers to create fake tank tracks in the dirt to complete the illusion. Soldiers were encouraged to be sloppy, to leave clues for German spies. They'd hang laundry out to dry, making it look like a camp had been there for a while. It was all part of the show. But visual trickery wasn't enough. The Germans didn't just look, they listened. So the Ghost Army had to create the sound of an army on the move. This was the job of the 3132nd Signal Service Company. They had a library of sound effects recorded on state-of-the-art wire recorders. These weren't just generic sounds. They were specific recordings of different Allied units. They had the sound of the 75th Infantry Division digging trenches, the sound of the 6th Armored Division's tanks rolling out. They would mount massive speakers onto half-tracks and, under the cover of darkness, drive them near the front lines. They'd then blast these recordings, capable of being heard up to 15 miles away. To German sound-ranging units, it sounded exactly like thousands of men and machines were massing for an attack. The engineers who ran this operation had to be meticulous. They'd mix the sounds, fading in the noise of approaching trucks, and then fading out the sounds of them departing, creating an entire audio narrative of a massive troop movement. The third layer of deception was radio traffic. A real Army division is a buzzing hive of communication. Radios are constantly chattering with orders, reports, and idle chatter. The Ghost Army had to replicate this perfectly. They had radio operators who learned to mimic the distinct sending style of the radio men from the specific units they were impersonating. They would generate fake, coded messages creating a web of false information for German radio intercept operators to pick up. They'd discuss troop movements that weren't happening and supply requests for units that were actually hundreds of miles away. It was a brilliant way to paint a false picture of Allied intentions directly inside the enemy's intelligence headquarters. And finally, there was the special effects or spoof element. Actors and artists within the unit would go into nearby towns dressed as high-ranking officers from the unit they were impersonating. They'd visit local cafes and bars, talking loudly about their upcoming offensive. They knew German agents were everywhere, and this was a direct performance for their benefit. They would even create fake command posts, complete with phony generals and buzzing activity, all designed to be seen by local collaborators who would report back to the Germans. This unit was no ordinary bunch of soldiers. The Army had specifically recruited artists, architects, sound engineers, actors, and advertising professionals. These weren't your typical frontline grunts. They were creative thinkers, problem solvers. Their barracks were less like a military camp and more like an eccentric art school. When they weren't building inflatable armies, they were sketching and painting the French countryside, documenting their unique and surreal experience of the war. Many of them, like fashion designer Bill Blass and painter Ellsworth Kelly, went on to become famous artists after the war. Their creativity was their greatest weapon. The Ghost Army conducted more than 20 battlefield deceptions, from the fields of Normandy all the way to the Rhine River. Their most famous and impactful operation was Operation Viersen. In March 1945, the U.S. Ninth Army was preparing to cross the heavily defended Rhine River. This was a hugely dangerous and critical operation. The Ghost Army was called in to help. Their mission was to impersonate 2 entire divisions, about 30,000 men, and convince the Germans that the crossing would happen at a different spot, about 10 miles south of the real location. For 2 days, they put on their greatest performance. They deployed hundreds of inflatable tanks and artillery pieces. At night, their speakers blared the sounds of bridge construction and troop movements. Their radio operators filled the airwaves with fake traffic. They even set up dummy headquarters and had actors playing generals driving around the area. The deception worked perfectly. The Germans, completely fooled, moved a significant portion of their forces, including panzer divisions, to counter the Ghost crossing. This left the actual crossing point for the Ninth Army far more lightly defended. When the real attack came, the Allies faced much less resistance than they had anticipated. Military historians estimate that this one deception alone saved anywhere from 10,000 to 30,000 American lives. It was an astonishing success. Despite their incredible impact, the soldiers of the Ghost Army returned home and were sworn to secrecy. Their mission was classified for more than 50 years. They couldn't tell their friends, their families, not even their wives, about what they really did in the war. They were the unsung heroes, their story buried in classified government files. It wasn't until the 1990s that the records were declassified, and their amazing story finally began to come to light. The story of the Ghost Army is more than just a fascinating piece of military history. It's a testament to the power of creativity and ingenuity in the face of overwhelming force. It shows that sometimes the most effective weapon isn't a bigger gun, but a better idea. These men fought a war of the mind, using art and performance to outwit one of the most powerful military machines in history. They proved that with enough imagination, an army of ghosts could be just as powerful as an army of steel. It's a story that was almost lost to time, a secret well kept for decades. But now we can remember and honor these unique soldiers who used their artistic talents to save lives and help win the war. They were truly an army unlike any other. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe Limitless Daily for more hidden histories. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Ghost Army. We'll see you in the next one.